1051.
It's Power 1051. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning. We got a special guest in the building this morning.
No. You say special guests all the time. We got something different. Special, legendary,
okay.
Iconic.
Okay.
All that.
You got to keep going then.
Sir Carter from Brooklyn.
Like all right.
Young Hov.
Yeah.
Jay-Z.
Jay-Z, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, sir.
Good morning, sir.
What's happening?
Welcome.
We were taking bets on how you were going to arrive. Was it going to be a chariot, white horse? Were you going to float in like Prince?
Or were you going to arrive at all?
I was on Pecker's back.
Pecker's back. Well, welcome.
Thank you. This is very hard to navigate.
I know you got to, Just one thing we want to know, just no matter what happens in here, just don't get Charlamagne fired. There was rumors that you got Charlamagne fired one time. We just don't want him fired.
Oh, gosh.
Listen, my last name is Pinkett Smith Winfrey Knowles Carter, okay? I'm cool over here.
All right, just making sure.
Right.
Just making sure. Well, congratulations
I
on the
wanted
album.
them to get you a throne, too.
Yeah.
But they weren't sure if you were coming. I was like, yo, we can't have Jay sit in this chair. But then he was like, yo, he's from Marcy. He sat on Stoops coming up.
I could take it back for how long we here? A couple hours.
I guess we'll see.
Well, congratulations on the album. The album's in stores right now.
Yes, and you were on Twitter last night. That was incredible. A lot of people didn't believe that was you.
That was amazing. I had a great time. That's like addictive. I can't be on Twitter. It's like weed. Like I like it, but too much of that is too. It's not good for me.
There's no way you could see everybody's questions either. I'm sure some people were like, "Oh, you didn't answer my question."
Yeah, I mean, it's impossible.
Do you know who people are? Like some of the people that you were answering, I was like, "Oh, I know who that person is," or were you just randomly?
No, I didn't know anyone. I knew one person. I knew G-Spin. He was.
Oh, you know G-Spin.
So you actually do know G-Spin. We're taking bets on that too.
We didn't think you knew G-Spin either.
We were taking bets on that one too. Does G really know Jay?
We didn't think so.
Yeah, I know G-Spin. He's messing with my Cowboys. That's the only person I knew. I ain't really know anybody else.
Now I'm a Cowboy fanatic too. They always give me flack because they say I'm from South Carolina, so I shouldn't root from the Cowboys. How do you do it being from New York? And you got the Giants and the Jets. How can you be a Cowboys fan in this city?
I grew up. My pop is really my pop fault.
That's
he grew up in that era. That era of those guys who wanted that whole cowboy lifestyle. All those guys was on coke and.
My pops was definitely on coke.
The chair.
It's true. I bet your dad didn't.
I got the whole thing pegged. I could give you the whole I could give you the whole profile. Did he have an afro?
He absolutely had an afro. He did, absolutely.
But I bet your dad didn't tase somebody at the Cowboys-Jets game like Charlamagne's dad
that was
did.
my father.
He's a real fanatic.
He tased somebody at the game.
Remember last year, the first game, Cowboys-Jets at MetLife Stadium?
Like in this
yes,
era?
Yeah,
like
recently? Last year.
He's from South Carolina. He didn't know. The tasers illegal.
He got arrested.
He let him in with it. He got into a fight with some Jets fans.
Serious.
He's a Cowboys guy.
Yeah.
He died hard over here.
I definitely wanted to put that on the profile, but that type of fan, and it's my pop's team, so I couldn't I had to watch it growing up.
It's gonna be tough this year. I don't know if you guys gonna make the playoffs this year.
All right, man.
Them Giants looking good. I'm just saying, them Giants looking good. We just signed Victor Cruz for another 6 years.
If the Jets win, if the Jets are winning next season, he's a Jets fan. Yeah. Giants start winning, he roots for the Giants. He's confused.
It's early in the morning for that, bro.
Now, I was shocked at one thing on Twitter when you said that Magna Carta Holy Grail you thought was fighting for 4th place as far as best albums. Because I think every time you put out an album, you think, okay, this is my best album to date. And that was very honest of you to say that. But do you really believe that? It's only 4th place?
I mean, only 4th place. But, I mean, fighting for that 3, you got to fight Reasonable Doubt, Blueprint, and the Black Album. That's just, I mean, that's just hard.
Is that the order you put it in that order? Reasonable Doubt first?
Reasonable Doubt, well, yeah, it's the first album I made. Because, that's the joint I took my whole life to make. Reasonable Doubt, then Blueprint, then the Black Album. But sometimes I switch to Blueprint and the Black Album. Don't tell nobody.
Is it hard though? Because you're competing against yourself. Like you're competing against classics. Like, you can't compare. To me, you can't compare. Holy Grail to Reasonable Doubt or the Blueprint because it was different times in your life.
True. That's part of the reason why I put it forth. It's very difficult to recreate those times. Those times was obviously, you can't bring those times back. But just for it to be so high says what I think about it.
What's the inspiration?
It's new anyway, I might not think that way in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
What's the inspiration? Because I know you used to say Big was inspired you to spit and Nas, but do you get inspired by artists now?
The era I grew up in is like Biggie, Nas, Tupac. It's very difficult to compare to those guys. It just is, and so I'm inspired by my previous work. So I have to measure myself against that. And
like they said, like, do you ever hear a record now that you be like, you know what, I'm going in the lab, or is it just seems like it's ABC 1 2 3? Because a lot of the music to me, it doesn't. I know it makes you sound like an old head, make me sound like an old head, but it just don't sound the same. It don't feel the same.
Nah, it's good music. It's just hard. It's just you got a mind for it. You know, I mean, before I felt there was, you know, an abundance of it. But that's what happened, you know, when anything's successful. Like, people were rapping because they loved the rap. And then it became this, you know, huge business, this multi-billion-dollar business. So people that didn't even care to rap was like, I'm going to figure out how to get some money in this. So you had people who could rap a little bit and saw it as a hustle. Then you had guys, CEOs rapping. You know, this is no disrespect to anyone, just to be clear. You had people rapping like, yo, you should rap. Like Big told Puff, you should rap.
Right.
Puff wasn't a rapper, you know, but he was Puff, you know what I'm saying? So, and he sold 7 million records. He may be more by now, you know, with the catalog, but he sold 7 million records of No Way Out. He never rapped before.
Right.
So when people see that, they emulate that. So now you got all kind of CEOs rapping, and now you have, I'm a CEO rapping. So, so now it's like, you know, it's flooded with guys who aren't rappers. So you just gotta mime it, and you're gonna find it, and you'll find good music still. It's just you know, more difficult to find.
So Puff F the game up is what you're saying for lyricists.
Nah,
That's not what you said.
that's all you got out of that.
But I would assume that you're inspired by the artists that you sign, also, or else why would you sign them if you didn't find them to be an inspiration to you?
Okay, that
That
Like,
works.
you know, for
that could
instance,
have been my answer.
J. Cole, you know, obviously I would think.
Yes, very dope.
And J. Electronica.
Very, very dope too.
He said he's up next too, by the way. I saw
We're
that.
waiting. That's like Detox.
Let's hope not.
What artists of yours that you signed are you most proud of? Because you're responsible for a lot of careers out here.
You have to say Kanye West, the most successful at this stage of his career, and his growth and the progress that he's made is like, it's unbelievable. You know, like when he first came in, he wasn't the artist that he is today. You know, but he always aspired to be. From that moment, like from the moment he walked through the door, when he was just the producer, not just the producer, when he was the producer, you know, he had it in his eyes. He was saying stuff like, you know, I am the savior of Chicago. And I was like, what are you even talking about? You don't even have a single. But, you know, he proved to be prophetic in that way, you know?
Now, age-old hood question. I always say that you put too much pressure on Bleak. Because early in his career, you said he was going to be the new, improved Jay-Z. And he was good, but everybody was waiting on him to be that. So you feel like you might have kind of, you know...
Yeah, it's just the little brother, like almost the little brother syndrome. He had it more so than anybody because he really grew up with me. He really grew up in, you know, on the 3rd floor on the same projects from me. So he really had it. He had my shadow on him, you know, the whole time. So whether I said those things or not, it was just there. You know, me saying those things was actually trying to deflect them, you know, trying to deflect some of it away from him. I wasn't trying to put more on him. It was just like elephant in the room. You walk in the room, like everybody's thinking, yo, that's the next guy. It's just natural.
I never saw you do that with any of your other artists afterwards. So I wonder if that was something you said, you know what, I'm not going to ever do that.
Yeah, he was just one of a kind. Like, he really was from the, like, you know, Val, his mother. I used to go in there and, like, Val, open the door and drag him out the house.
Gotcha.
You know, so he was a unique guy.
And he's always been very loyal to you.
Very.
Like, to this day still.
Yeah, Bleak is an amazing soul. He's an incredible person.
Oh, I always say people don't.
Because
you don't get enough
how
credit.
much pressure people putting on him. You
Absolutely.
know what I mean? Yeah.
And Bleak is
you
busy
should
in the
be
streets.
this. You should do that.
Absolutely.
You should have $100 million. You know, that type of, it's crazy, unrealistic things. But
Bleak gets busy in the street. He'll come see you too if you say the wrong thing. He'll definitely come see you. I not of recent, but
yo, don't pump Bleak up.
he'll definitely come see you. He'll definitely come see you.
Don't do
He
that.
definitely will come see you. Now, also, you spoke of Kanye West. What did you think of Ye's album, the last album, Yeezus?
I liked it.
Like,
Ah, come on, Hov. It's ass, man. Out of 10 records, I give him 4.
That's like 40% of a record. That's pretty good, man.
But he's got an amazing catalog, though. Like he should never put out anything that people even consider is subpar.
Jesus.
Some people, but some people love that album. You know,
Yeah.
it's
polarizing, and that's what great art is polarizing. Some people love it. You know, it forces you to have an opinion. Like, you know, at least you're not like wishy-washy about it. You know, it forces you to have an opinion, which is good, and I think it's needed. You know, it's needed because what tends to happen is someone has to experiment and go do it first, and then, you know, artists will sit back and watch it and be like, okay, I like this, I don't like that. You know, I like this part, and they'll perfect the methods, and then, you know, and it all pushes the genre forward, which is good, and that's what he does. He's like the lightning rod for the coach. No, he's actually like the cowboy. You know, he runs over the hill, and then, you know, the Indians hit him with his arrows, and then he comes back like, yo, there's a lot of them over there. And then we go over there and conquer.
What's your reaction whenever you hear him like denounce corporations, being that you are such a corporate entity yourself?
Yeah, you know, I think you know, as an individual, I respect that. You know, it's what he chooses to do. You know, me myself, I can operate in that venue. I can operate. You know, I can walk that line between, you know, putting out great art and, you know, getting paid for my art. I'm not one of those. Excuse my language. I ain't one of those that they could talk to and be like, you're an artist, you shouldn't have money. Like, that's the gas. They hit you with that. They make you, yeah, I don't want any money. I want to be a pure artist, and I don't want to have, you know, it's the music business. If that's the case, you should, any artist, not Kanye West, any artist, if, you know, they should just record in their basement and never enter the music business. You know, I just happen to be really good at the music business.
Do you pay attention to reviews on the album? Does that affect you? Do you read it like, oh, let me see what they said in USA Today? Or?
Yeah, I think reviews have lost a lot of their importance now because of the internet. Like, everyone is experiencing things at the same time. Like, you can write a review like the guy from USA Today tomorrow. Y'all both can write the review at the same time. Before, they used to give albums out. That's what happened. That's why the critic became important in the music space, because they got the music first. They would get the music 2 months early, you know, because the magazine had a long lead time. They get it, they sit with it, you know, they review it, they send it out a month ahead of time. You're reading it, you're looking like, oh, this album's gonna be dope. You don't have the music, so you're reading reviews for a month. Right now, the music comes out like this.
Right.
People are writing a review in a day. First of all, you can't listen to an album and rate it in a day. It's just impossible.
Oh, Magna Carta Classic, 10 minutes after it comes out.
Yeah, it's impossible to even get what the nuances, all the instrumentation, all the words, what is being, you know, said in the music, what it's about. Like, it's impossible to do that in 24 hours. And when I see that, I'm like, oh, so this is all just bull. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, so I can't put any weight in it. You know, it's good. You review the album, it's great. You like it, fantastic. You don't like it, that's good too. But it doesn't mean anything because, you know,
we can all stream it and listen to it and form our own opinions.
That's right. You can have a better review than the guy from the New York Times. Like, I read 2 reviews. I read the guy from the New York Times, and I read the kid from All Hip Hop. They both had like interesting points of view. The guy from All Hip Hop was saying about purgatory, which I feel like sometimes, you know, it's like when you walk that line, it's like, you know, you can't do too much for this side and you do too much for the, it's like a weird thing. I'm in a weird space, which, you know, I enjoy. But I felt like, you know, his review was just as great as this New York Times writer's review, and this is supposed to be the New York Times.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's the same thing to me.
Do you people feel like people consume music too fast? Because you create these amazing moments, but then the moment is fleeting. As soon as you put the album out, it's like people are on it for a few days. Then, okay, J. Cole came out, Wale comes out the next week. Wale's out, now Hove's out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, it's just, yeah, again the time that we in, right? We have to figure out, I mean, it's up to the individual to figure out how to slow it down, because, you know, it's just going faster and faster. Everything is moving, you know, quicker. You know, information is going quicker. You know, it's, again, like you said, you know, these great things are fleeting. They're going faster and faster, and it's up to the individual to slow it down and be like, okay, I'm living with this album. This is what I choose to rock to. This is gonna be the soundtrack to my life for these next couple months.
Or the
You know
summer.
what I'm saying?
Right.
That's an individual thing. I'm not gonna let anybody speed up my process. I don't care what's happening out there. That's the great thing about, you know, having ultimate confidence in yourself is it doesn't matter what's happening. I don't care what's happening. I don't care what you're on or this person's on. This is what I like. You know,
ever gotta watch?
my life is tailor made for me.
You ever got to watch your lyrics? Because, you know, things you say people take literally. Like, I remember watching the press conference at the White House, and they're quoting Jay-Z lyrics about something that you said. You ever be like, man, maybe I shouldn't have said that?
Nah, it's I'm an artist. I have the creative license to say whatever I feel at that moment.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I find things funny, like, you know, the Obama thing. Obama said the irony in that,
Mm-hmm.
the fact that people really believed that and really was like, you lied. I'm like, you believe that?
You do say you said hashtag facts only.
Yeah, but irony. You know, irony is you got to have some irony in music. That was like, you know. Yeah.
Okay, question as a fan. Is it ever awkward when you're in a room with Nas? Because that Ether Takeover beef with y'all wasn't light.
It was disrespectful.
Yeah, it was a time, and it was a moment in time that was a great moment for hip hop. But for us, you know, we really have a good relationship. We laugh. We don't even. That thing is so far past, and I understand why. You know, even today, that thing is. I guess it's 11 years old, maybe longer, and like people still fascinated with it, but it's so far removed. It's so far in the background that we're not awkward around each other at all.
I say the great thing about it is it didn't destroy either one of your careers. Like sometimes when
No, it helped Nas.
No, yeah, it did help him at that
Resurrected
time.
Nas.
But for both of you, it's not like, okay, now this guy just destroyed me, because that happens sometimes with beef. But you guys both were successful still after that. You even more so.
Yeah, you heard a lot of careers. That's what she wants to say. You know,
rap is competitive. You know, it's a competitive sport. Each time I went out, I put my career on the line as well. You know, like that. You know, it could have happened to me. You know,
heard Prodigy.
and everybody wanted it to happen. Like,
Yep.
they did. It was a time where it was like, please, let this guy go away. So, you know, that's just the nature of rap. Is competitive, and you know, every time you go out there, you putting your career on the line.
Would you ever do a King of New York album with Nas? Like how you and Ye did Watch the Throne?
Yeah, not probably not at this point. You know, like, you know, if any other collaboration album would have to be with Kanye, because you know there's chemistry there, and we already know how we work, and you know, I don't really have the time to really like just figure out those situations and how a person works, and that's hard to do. It's hard to do, especially if you're gonna make something great. You know, I mean, the hardest thing ever was, you know, going through those R. Kelly albums. You know, it's just, you just never know how the situation's gonna turn out. It's an X factor that you can't even calculate in your mind that, you know, can happen at any moment. That you'd be like in the hotel ready to make an announcement. It's like, what? What just happened?
Tata, get the peppers.
Stupid. We had Jadakiss up here, and we were talking about throw-offs, and Jadakiss was like, you were the biggest throw-off. Like, when it comes to trying to get you on the phone or trying to get something to
he said spin. No, he said spin. That's the word. You're the master spinner.
The master spinner.
Spin people.
It was like, when it comes to getting Hov on the phone, he said, Hov will call you the day after, like, yo, I just got back from in the country, man. I just got your text. You still need me?
Sounds like
But he said at least
like
you
real talk to me.
At least you do answer his calls, though. You know, that's important.
Yeah.
Now, was
Jadakiss can get me on the phone anytime.
Was it nerve-wracking, like doing this whole new deal with Samsung that had never been done before, and then there were like some glitches people were saying, and trying to get the app right and get the album, because it's the first time it's been done?
Yeah, that again, in that instance, I was the cowboy running over the hill. You know, anytime that you try to do something different, and you should always try to, you know, push forward, and whatever you're doing is going to be problems, because it's never been done before. So you can't anticipate all the things that's going to happen. The thing that happened with Samsung is a real thing. It was 20 million hits to the app. I'm not saying 20 million people hit that, but you know, a million people, we went over a million, right? A million, say 1,000,003, or whatever. Was trying, right, and you couldn't get through. You know, you hit it 20 times. So that's 20 million hits. It was 20 million hits for the app, and it broke. No one's expecting. There's no way in the world for you to calculate 20 million hits. It's not even a number that you can fathom. It's 20 times the amount we thought was going to happen. You know. So you can't even like prepare service for that. It's very difficult.
So in a way, it's a great problem to have because that's a whole bunch.
It's not a great problem because you want like the fan to get that experience. The people that waited and downloaded it, you want them to have that experience right away. That's the only thing. It was like, you know, a little disheartening to me that I was like, man, because imagine that. Like I can't even imagine like waiting for, you know, Rakim's album at 12 o'clock and I couldn't get it. And I downloaded it on the 24th. I did everything
phone.
right.
Yeah.
24th, I downloaded my app. I set it. I watched the clock count down. And at 12 o'clock, I couldn't get it. You know, so for me, that's you know, that's not cool. That's a loss. And, you know, that has to get better. But again, someone else is going to figure out. The next person is going to now know, you know, how to go into it better. Which is cool, and that's my job. You know, I took the hit for that.
I saw you tweet Ab Soul yesterday, and you said you was a fan of the whole movement. I guess the whole Black hippie movement with Kendrick Lamar and everybody. Like, who keeps you in tune with that kind of stuff? Because people think you don't live on this planet, so that you don't know what's going on.
Yeah, like an alien or something. I like music. I really like music, and when people make good music, I'll find it. You know, I don't listen to everything. I don't really care to listen to everything. I actually don't want to listen to anything. So if it makes it to me, that means you know you're doing something right.
You hear a lot of New York artists complain about the state of New York hip hop. You are a New York artist. Over the years, have you looked at New York and said, what's going on with our city musically?
Yeah, but that's just a thing. That's just, you know. It's cool. It's a regional thing. Like that's the way music moves. You know, it was out west, out down south, or you know whatever. That's the way it moves. The whole thing is complaining does nothing. Make music, make some great music, and that's the end of it. Like I don't even know what to say. You know,
Hope's like, I'm too busy winning to hear their complaints. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I just don't care about it. It's almost like a loser's mentality. It's like everyone's so spoiled. Like it's like, you know, he won't let me shine. I even heard someone say like, yo, why Jay won't let Kanye? I'm like, let Kanye. Kanye's Kanye. He's gonna do what he does. That's a loser's mentality. When we would gonna sound like one of those rappers. When we were coming up, you know, I mean, it was my albums came out with Outkast, Lauren, Q-Tip, all of them in 1 week. You know, everybody did good. You know, look at the chart now. It's Wale, #1. This is like a shameless plug. Roc Nation managed artist, J. Cole, which would probably go to #1 next week again. No, for the first time ever, but he'll go to #1. Roc Nation, and it's Kanye. Everyone's flourishing. You know, you got to be out. You got to be able to compete. Still sharp and still. You got to get out there and you got to earn your spot. It's not given. It's such a spoiled brat losers mentality that's it's annoying.
Is there anybody new from New York that you feel?
You know, they're making noise. They haven't reached that level yet to really be like
shouting them out.
Yeah, but
they're
on their
That's real though.
I mean it in a great way. But you know, it's good. But it's again, it's not really about. It's not a regional thing. Unless it's like 5 of them. That's the only way you can make it live, and that's the only way you can make hip hop live in your region. And you have 4 or 5 people doing it at one time. You have one person flourishing. It's gonna be. It is what it is.
Now, has fatherhood changed you at all? As far as lyrics,
I mean, absolutely. You know,
how is Jay as a dad?
I hope I'm great, but I'm learning. Again, it's a new thing for me, and I guess change me in a way that, I mean, just knowing what's important, knowing the things that are important is, you know. But I had a pretty good sense of that, but it just reaffirmed all the things that I believed I knew.
Now, how were you with you know, the reason I'm asking because I'm going through it now. So how were you with, like, every 2 hours the baby getting up and changing Pampers and similar?
Nah, I got an army, man. It's like,
you ain't do none of that?
I mean, of course, but come on, man. It's hard, man. It's difficult.
Real people, real celebrities, real talk.
Join the Breakfast Club.
Blast off in your
Weekday morning 6 to 10.
Only on Power 105.1.